Hello, everybody. For a change, I thought I would bring Apollo up here, freshly groomed. He was awake and waiting for us to get started, so I thought I would bring him up for a second. Welcome, everyone, to the Weekly Collective. As you can see with the special topic here, we're going to be focusing on removing blocks and also delays or any other things that might be standing in the way of you, your dreams, your goals. So thank you for picking, as always, a really good topic. I'm just getting my monitor set up on the side here. So what we'll be doing today, if you're brand new, we'll be taking a look, not at the elemental forecast, we'll be taking a look at channeled messages first, then a 7-day forecast, then the elemental, then the special topic. All right, I'm going to put this little sweetheart down so we can get to work. Thank you, Apollo, for making an appearance. We appreciate you. There you go. All right, he's like, I don't need my toys. I just need to get comfortable here in the background. As I said, we're going to start off with channeled messages. Channeled messages come from basically dreams. And for you this morning, what I was picking up on was a need to focus a little bit more on time management skills. And trust me, it's hard, especially for those of you that might be parents, might be juggling a couple of jobs. I hear you, I understand. And for you, this message is coming through. But for all of us, there is an opportunity to be just a little bit better with how we're spending our time. So here's what came through in dreams and meditation. It looked like it was either a school or a work scene, but for me, that just means like this is something to work on when I'm kind of decompressing and taking apart dream messages. There was an assignment given. There was one big important thing to focus on, and there was the realization, I can't do all of this, right? And I saw you talking to a teacher or to a coworker or to a boss, some sort of an authority figure, just saying, I need to focus on this. Who can take care of this? And so delegation is one great way to manage this. And that's why I chose this particular card here, because the 10 of Wands means you can get it done. You will get it done, but there's a cost to pay sometimes. You can see this person stressing out on their back. There's another card in Wands, 7 of Wands, where the person pushes back a little bit. And that's the one you really want to kind of lean on a bit here, is delegation, pushing back. And the main thing here is communication. When I was in, I was younger. When I was in college and had an apartment that my parents were helping me with for grad school, I had a terrible landlord. But when I decided to move, it was a little short on the notice, but he said, anything in life is possible with proper notice. I'm going to let you go on this one because you're young. He said, but give proper notice, whether it's a lease or anything in life. And he was a lousy landlord, but it was really good advice, and I never forgot it. Always give proper notice, especially if you don't think that you can get something done, or if there are mitigating, extenuating circumstances that somehow would make it okay for shorter notice. Communication and clear communication is key. Better to speak up now than to miss the deadline with good intentions, because then, like I said before, sometimes that's like the 7 of Swords energy coming through inadvertently, right? All right, limits and boundaries. I put a power symbol on here, the Empress, because have you ever noticed that people who are comfortable with themselves and kind of just really strong energetically, they don't have a hard time with the boundaries, with saying no, with saying yes when they want it too. They just basically know themselves and put that out there. So a sign of strength would be not sacrificing your health for an arbitrary goal or deadline. And you know what? I worked long enough, 15 years in corporate environments, different companies, big and medium and small. Usually the deadlines are arbitrary. Sometimes they're not even intelligent, let's put it that way. It's someone that just pinned a point on a calendar and everyone rallies behind it like, it's the end of the world. When truth be known, things can be, you can bend and kind of be flexible with some of these things, but your health, you get one body in this lifetime. We live many lifetimes, but one in this body. Treat it well. And, like a willow tree, you can bend, but there is a breaking point. My big message today as I got up and was pulling together this channeled message was do less, but do it better. You'll be happier, you'll be healthier, you'll be more successful. People are going to respect you, and it's just going to feel better at the end of the day, right? Okay, welcome everyone. If you just joined, we're going to get into, I know what many of you are coming here for, the 7-day forecast. So let me grab as I was getting ready today, I thought this black and white deck will be perfect for the 7-day forecast. So we're going to use it. Welcome, and let's begin. This is for everybody that's present until we get into the elemental portion. So just sit back, enjoy, and let's see what's going on here. Yeah, sometimes I see an animal or nature totem. Sometimes I just see a scene. It's kind of changed over the past 8.5 years. So I just allow that kind of channeled message to be what it needs to be. Sometimes it's very direct. This will be for today, Sunday, Monday. Monday's looking great. We've been getting the world a lot in the daily stuff, so more on that. Tuesday, Wednesday. Gosh, so many major cards. Thursday, all good stuff. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, let's get everything set up so you can see it. Zoom out a smidge. There we go. Okay, so we're going to begin with today's message this Sunday. And King of Wands, very nice, powerful energy to come through. So this is a chance for you to really lean into your organizational skills. It's a great card for innovation. And this is also an opportunity for you to, much like we were talking about before, put up the boundaries, put up the limits, basically talk about what's important, and don't be afraid. All of that is here. There is also a very creative flow that goes through this. I love that we can see the fire, and he's making kind of like an infinity sign, like the magician and figure 8. So this is a time to connect with your creative muse and to get things started. When I pulled the way that this kind of works with the daily readings, they work together. You can think of one as a presenting one as possibly how to amplify that. I would look at this as a chance to amplify the Wheel of Fortune, which I pulled for today. So this is a chance to get in touch with and be in charge of your time, energy, and money, because this is second only to the Emperor, a boss card. Okay, so all of that is amazing and is pretty good, and this is why you show up today, right? Is to get a feel for your time, your energy. This is so cool because I was doing some research this morning and I thought, should I talk about the juggler? But I didn't, because part of the energy of being able to juggle priorities, I was thinking of the image of that. There are different ways that jugglers work. I'll share a little bit now, but they have like 3 or 4 formations. There's like a fountain formation. There's a circular thing. There's also this ability to kind of do like a figure 8, which is really cool because the juggling energy came through as we're looking at Monday. So the world. In order to be able to embrace the expansive energy of the world, again, there's a little juggling that needs to be done. So we have also in this beautifully illustrated card here, the genesis of something new. And it's almost like the person's looking through a keyhole or on the door, one of those viewports. So this is about you seeing the potential and maybe juggling. Whenever I see, this is also like 2 of Pentacles. It's a choice. I choose this. And it felt like a choice was necessary in dreams. You don't have to juggle everything. So I'll keep underlining that as we're looking at this 7-day forecast. Your choice will help you get it done faster. So rather than trying to pull yourself in 2 or 3 or many directions, say, this is my goal, this is my number 1 this week. Everything else I'm going to need some help with. And if you can do that, if you can set that in motion, then it's going to be something that is optimal, sustainable, and doable, and you can then accomplish what it is that you're setting out to do. Okay? Very beautiful card. As I said with the World card when I pulled my daily reading a few days ago, because we got, the Fool, the World, and the Wheel of Fortune. The World is an expansive card, so one thing you want to avoid on Monday is limiting thoughts. Go bigger or don't go there. So I always like to use questions to get out of a limit. So I can't. Why can't I? And what am I going to do about that? So you can use the limit to remove the limit. I won't, I won't do this. Why won't I do this? What can I do to get around that? So just ask yourself, interrogate a little bit, and find the solution. Talk to someone else if you need to. It's a great day for traveling. It's a great day to expose yourself to new ideas, to new people. It's expansive. So explore, expand, see what the world has to offer. All right, it's a good day. Some of you might be traveling. Some of you might get messages from afar. Good day for business, any type of business-related communication. Great day to start something. Great day to wrap something up. It's a bookend card, okay? Let's move on to Tuesday. So on this day, there is an encouragement not to second guess your potential, your power, your creativity. The magician has all the tools at his altar, even though we don't see it here. What is essential in this one is the ability to follow your heart. And you can see him sort of moving the energy around the heart center. We also see him very connected. He is the channel between heaven and earth. So as above, so below, that means that you're the creative channel. That also means that you're not the battery. And so although I don't really practice Reiki healing, I did take an attunement for Reiki 1. One of the things that I remember is the reason Reiki can work and any kind of healing modality can work and protect you is because you're pulling healing energy not from yourself, but from the universe, from a bigger source. And the magician reminds us that we're not the battery, we're the facilitator. And that's a freeing energy for you. And that also helps you reserve your personal energy, your own battery for your body, for your health, for your ideas. And then when it comes to work and other things, be more the channel, the facilitator, the gatherer, the person that's pulling it from other sources. But mostly this is about not second guessing yourself and staying focused, because sometimes all of the tools in front of you can get very confusing when you're sitting at that magician's table. So this is also reminding you that it's important to be mindful of, how much, how often, discernment, basically, you're going to use your time, energy, and money. All right, we have a big breaking point in a positive way, like a breakthrough. Judgment is second chances, rising up from challenges, very much a phoenix sort of energy. And I always love this particular illustration for judgment. They chose a different word in this deck. I'm using Tarot of the Abyss. You can always go to my website if you want any of these. Yes, this awakening card, we see them shedding a skin and then starting to kind of like open up their wings. It's almost like, you fell down and you're brushing yourself off and saying, let's do this one more time. I'm ready now. I know what I want. I know what I don't want. So for those of you that have had any setbacks, it's about not repeating history. For those of you that have been waiting for a moment to do something, I mean, Monday was pretty compelling, but Wednesday is also compelling. It's kind of like the last snooze alarm that you set before you know you're going to be late. So you can usually hit snooze 2 or 3 times, and it's like, if I don't get up now, I won't make it through traffic. I won't be able to take a shower. I won't be able to eat, walk the dog. You know when that final limit is. Wednesday is that limit to do something, okay? Judgment is also knowing that you know what you need to do, but like listening to the inner knowing. Justice, you're making the decision. Judgment, you know. So trust what you know and then act upon what you know. And then some exciting things can happen. It's one of the cards that has an angel in it. So praying, meditating, and listening to your intuition, very helpful this day as well. Now, as we go into Thursday, we have the Knight of Swords in reverse. It might be time to slow down a little bit. There's been a lot going on. And the Knight of Swords in reverse is basically saying, let me backtrack and make sure, did I do everything that I agreed to do? I'm looking at the fine print. Is there something that I don't like or need to speak up on? Let's do it now. Let's basically also just check everything twice. It's a very nitpicky card, but it's good and it's slower. But you can save yourself time. I'll pick a cultural thing that most of you will know. So I was watching Nailed It, which is a cooking show on Netflix. they have like a new season out. There was this guy that was building a cake and he was going super slow and everyone else was going really, really fast, but their cakes all toppled over. And so there is this sort of advantage sometimes just to go slow. He was sitting there and it was fine. You could tap the cake. It wasn't moving anywhere. Slow and steady is better than rushing and having to go back and like fix things. So when it comes to contracts and anything in your life, try to do it right the first time if you can. And it's okay if you're not tracking as quickly as someone else is. You don't know if they're taking shortcuts. So Thursday's not a day to take shortcuts. That's what you can walk away with. Be slow, be picky, look at the fine print, don't rush. Now let's take a look at what's coming through for Friday. Now this is the day where resource management is going to be important. So I got that in my channeled messages. What's going on here is there might be people around you that want more than is realistic. I'm going to pull the traditional card while we talk. You can look at this real quick. We see someone in the background, open arms, but these two people are kind of holding on to something that it's not worth it. Here we go. Here's your traditional Five of Pentacles. So you'll see that there's always something bigger or better. We've got the chapel in the background here, safety, support, but these two are trying to kind of like go on their own, or they're trying to get each other's attention, but they can't help each other. On a larger scale, what you can walk away with on the Five of Pentacles is a past situation can sometimes take away your confidence or self-worth or call it into question. And now in the present, you might be settling for something that is less than adequate. And so whether that is the way someone's treating you, how much you're willing to give away, time, energy, money, someone that may be testing you by taking you for granted or just not sort of appreciating you, this is a day where you audit and say, is this worth it? Is this worth it? Why am I continuing to do this? And also really celebrating your worth and saying, you know, I've worked hard, even in this very week, to get something going, to focus, to make the decision to move forward, to not rush and do something until I'm ready. And you know what? That takes strength. That takes power. I'm worth more than this, or I'm worth this. So, 'cause sometimes the Five of Pentacles can be a good situation when it's reversed, coming in and you're like, did I earn this? Am I smart enough, pretty enough, this enough, that enough for this to happen? Yes. So don't second guess good things when they come. Don't take something that is less than optimal and continue to work with it if you don't want to, okay? So this is a day when it comes to your time and energy to really pull back on unnecessary expenditures and ask for more. If you need more, ask. You never know what's possible unless you ask. Okay, let's move on to the weekend. Saturday, just almost a week from today. We're looking at next 6 days out here. So some of you are really focusing on coming out of your shell a little bit. Some of you are still sort of stuck in the books, researching things. This hermit isn't in the cave. We see her holding a snake here, which is a symbol of power. A slightly different version than what we're used to. Here's what's good when the hermit card comes through. So next Saturday, some of you just want to kind of like stay inside, read a book, finish up something that you started, maybe do something solo. That's fine. There's actually great energy in just having this chance to recharge. If you're working on something and you're trying to research it, you might get a lot done, but it's saying like after that day, because we have the Three of Cups the very next day, it's time to move forward. And you've basically gotten everything that you need to. I'm not going to worry too much about finding the traditional card here. We'll just focus on this. You're getting empowered through the energy of research. And again, it's basically give yourself a day, because one day forward in the future, when we go to Sunday, we have the Three of Cups. And this is about sharing your learnings with others. And also opening yourself up. It's the antithesis of the hermit. One is, it's just me. The other one is, all right, let me connect with people. Let me network. Let me also see what else is out there. It's almost like coming home from the message that we saw on Monday, the world, coming back to that expansive energy, but focusing specifically in how being able to talk to others, share with others can bring in new opportunities. If you're looking for love, this is a great day to get out there as well. So recharge on Saturday and get out there on Sunday. If you're in a relationship, this is also a good card for just rekindling the flame. Spending time with friends, family, and loved ones. It's in the upright position, so there's really no negative connotations there. All right, let's just do a quick recap of this week, and then we'll go into the elements. So today's great. Highlights, I would say, you've got a lot. There's really not many days that aren't great, but today is an organizational day. Monday's a launching day. It's decision time midweek. And I think those are the key pivotal places. You may get inspired to do a little bit more research or creation because the Hermit's also highly spiritual and connected to that creative flow. So this is another productive day. If you're trying to put something in front of someone next weekend in general is pretty good because you prep and then you show up and you're in a good space. Only challenging days, really, I would say the most challenging day is Friday. The other ones are manageable if you use what I said. So I feel like this is a great week, folks. So yay for that. Who doesn't want to have something that's kind of manageable here? All right, let's get into the elements. I'm going to choose a different deck for this, so give me a second. Okay, so if you're new here, basically I use the elements as a way to give each of the signs a little bit more information. So we'll pull it for fire, earth, air, and water, and then I'll break it down. Fire, earth, air, and water. Wow, king and two queens. Okay, let's get started here. We'll begin with fire signs. Fire, which is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. We have the Four of Pentacles. I typically like to look at this as a foundational card. That one pentacle that she's holding up is typically held right in front of the heart. So what we do with the Four of Pentacles often is we protect ourselves. And sometimes this is by not letting people see or know too much. And there are times and places where that makes a lot of sense. Sometimes it is a fearful card because what we do is hold on to something, much like the Five of Pentacles, beyond its lesson or usually it's lesson or purpose was the word I was looking for. This is basically saying open your heart, much like the Five of Pentacles, ask for more if you're not getting what you need. And if there's someone in your life that is withholding, it sort of creates the same energy here. So just remember that opening your heart and your mind should hopefully inspire others around you to do the same. But if they remain in that closed position, then it just shows you that you've kind of leveled up a little bit and you'll attract other people in the same energy. As you or others in your life level up, there's always a chance for you to follow them and for them to follow you, or for people to kind of stay where they're at and you just keep going. So don't hold on to the past. Basically, focus on what you need, focus on your future, focus on opening the heart. These are the things this week that will help you thrive, okay? And that's the message for the fire signs. Moving from fire to earth, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. We have the Knight of Cups in reverse, very similar to when we were looking at the Knight of Swords in reverse. It is about slowing down. This one is not so much about action, it's more about emotion. So for some of you, there might be some inner feelings that are coming to the surface that require your attention. They could be feelings of joy, of grief, of frustration. Each of us has our own sort of story, but you can't ignore the emotions this week. Let them color, inform, or motivate you to, again, practice good self-care, but also figure out what's next. If you're unhappy, what are you going to do about it? If you're frustrated, is it you? Is it someone around you? Use the emotion or emotions as a compass where you can kind of plot out the points and figure out what's next. Emotions are useful. They come through to help us see things. That's really what it is. And when we get to the source of it, then we can kind of get back into that neutral state that we often look for, okay? There could be love coming into your life. Could be unexpected here. So water sign obviously coming through. One thing here is that you have to find your balance first, because if you're looking for someone to come in and fill up your cup, and that's kind of what the King of Cups reverse is looking for, like literally spill it over into here and I'm ready. That is, it can kind of lead into codependency, or it can be a lot for the other person. So again, and vice versa, if you find someone who is really latching on too strong, too fast, too much, make sure that you're both solid and grounded. What I liked about the Magician was it showed the importance of grounding, because then you can reach higher, just like a tree. So focus on your emotional grounding and everything else this week, and that's going to help you out. All right, that's the message for Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Now let's move on to our water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Boss energy coming through for you. Complementing the King of Wands, which came through today, we have the Queen of Wands. She's one of my favorite court cards because she's magical, she's bossy, she knows what she wants. She can also make things happen when none of the other court cards can. So she just has a way of seeing potential. And when you're in that innovative state, sometimes it's hard for others to know, where did that come from? How are you doing this? Just trust your instincts and don't let their fear, anxiety, doubt, or confusion cloud your judgment. And definitely it's a take charge sort of week. So don't be afraid to do so. And that's the message for water. We skipped over air. So now let's move on to our, yes, but I'm going to read it that way because it came that way. Now let's go for our air signs. We have the Queen of Pentacles coming through. It was meant to be. We flipped the water and air. Queen of Pentacles, very similar energy, actually. So it's not so radical that these two are kind of overlapping. So I'll give you complementary reads for both. With the Queen of Pentacles, here's what you want to focus on. It's about self-care and asking for what you need. So if there's something in your life that others are not providing, these two queens are very similar. The difference between the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles is Queen of Pentacles is not afraid to ask. And also, she can take something small and make it larger. So the Queen of Wands, she just sees an option that others are not seeing and she might grab it. So it feels like it's magic and it's thin air. Queen of Pentacles is basically not afraid to say, I need this, or this isn't enough, or she just knows. She leans into her intellect and her skills. So since I had a little bit of overlap, I think both air and water need to hear those messages. Lean into the queen that feels best for you. They're very similar in this respect. They're good bosses. One is a little bit more nurturing, Queen of Pentacles. So if you need to take care of yourself, take care of yourself. And if you need to speak up, speak up. All right. So a little bit of overlap there, but there are no accidents. Everything is a synchronicity. So for those of you that are either air or water, find the queen that speaks most to you and use that energy. It's there at your disposal. All right. Let's now take a look at the special topic today. By the way, if you just joined, perfect timing. We're looking at breaking free of blocks, delays, and hurdles. Okay. So let me get this table cleared up. While I'm doing that, if you enjoyed today, do me a favor, hit the like, subscribe, and if you'd like to also make sure you don't miss any future videos, use the bell icon as well. And also, while I'm getting everything set up here, if you're new to the channel and you want to know my schedule, it's typically Monday, Thursday, and Friday for new videos, live streams every Sunday, plus daily readings. All right, give me one moment. Let's see. I'm just going to do the Light Seers deck today. Okay. Time for the special topic, everybody. This portion is for everyone who is present. For those of you that just joined, worry not. There will be you can basically replay and rewatch this entire video, plus you can rewind to the beginning at any point. All right, everybody, you have a dual catalyst today. We're going to start with that. And basically, we have one that was sort of upright, kind of on its side, and one that's definitely upside down. So I always like to read the one that was on the top is the presenting or opportunistic card, and the one underneath is the challenge. I mentioned the power of prayer, and it's coming through here. Meditation counts, vision work, like putting together a chalkboard, bulletin board, vision board, all of that works. It's basically you going within and seeing what your heart, your third eye, your inspiration is. Make time for that this week. It's Two of Wands energy, it's High Priestess energy. So seeing it and then opening up the synchronicities and then allowing it to come through, okay? Prayer it isn't about religion, it's just about connecting to source. If we take out the religious connotations, it's saying, I'm ready. This is how I'm opening myself up to this. It's you having a conversation with whatever is your higher calling out there, all right? We have death reversed, the underworld reversed. And so this is an end of stagnation. And we see all of this energy around. This would be also like the judgment card too, as I'm looking at this, death or judgment. Because I'm seeing life on it. It's not the life we want to see necessarily, but it is it's life after death. So when something dies, we see the worms coming through. So this is basically like the judgment card because it's life from death. So there could be something where you had a delay. We're looking at the topic today. So something didn't happen. And you're like, I want that. The universe comes through and said, that's okay. Keep an open heart and an open mind because something else or something better will come in its stead, but it may not look the way you want it to, but it may be exactly what you need and it will be enough to sustain. So this is actually about opening your eyes to a non-obvious, but maybe even better suited solution in front of you. So that's nicely aligned with our special topic for today. Let's just take a scan here of the Celtic Cross. This just gives us a quick chance to see everything that's in front of us. As we're looking at the Celtic Cross here, fears and anxieties could be the first thing that you need to deal with. We have death here, so there's a change. Second guessing that change is going to be the challenge. So let's just take it card by card. But ultimately, I like that success is on the horizon. It's just a question of recognizing some of the people or opportunities or even tendencies within that might hold you back from that. All right, we'll begin with the moon card at the center. So the moon is basically saying the only thing to fear is fear itself. As long as you can educate yourself and explore whatever it is that is causing concern or anxiety, then you're going to be all right. We saw like a couple of research days too, particularly when I pulled the Hermit. So for some of you, it might even be, next Saturday or something that you're doing this. But I always find education, information, and basically real life examples helps me not feel afraid because I can learn how other people dealt with things. The moon is a creative card. It's also indicative of a 1 month cycle. So whatever you're putting into motion, remember we got the world for this week. It could take one full lunar cycle to manifest. Be patient. Avoid competition and unnecessary drama. Here we see the wolf and the dog separated by the ocean. Usually they're right on the precipice of a path, but sometimes it feels like it's very difficult to bridge the gap of emotions. You remember what I was talking about? It's not necessarily your job to do so right now. Like if there's a lot on your plate, you might have to just focus on what's important and let these other people deal with it. So don't get mired down or weighed down in their energy or their emotions. Focus on you. This is one of the higher creative cards. So like Queen of Cups, let's see, the Magician, the High Priestess, the Moon, they're all in touch with emotions and the flow of creativity. So channel your creativity right now. You can do a lot with that. All right, crossing this, we have one of my favorite cards in this deck and also just one of my favorite cards because we've got the King of the Mountain here, the King of Swords. He's able to communicate well. He's able to get things done. He's one of the most active, communicative, and I would also say productive court cards you could pull. Lean into communication. Doesn't that really nicely align with what I was talking about with that old story of the landlord? If you think something isn't going to happen, don't wait until the 11th hour to communicate it. If you're not feeling it emotionally, like someone is counting on you, or it could even be unrequited love. They want you for something or want to be with you. You have to speak up sooner than later. Let your emotions be known and use your words and use facts and figures to back yourself up. But this is also about tailoring the message. So we have all these different flying animals, from an owl to a bat to dragonfly to a crow. Like, everything is represented here. It's saying not one size will fit all when it comes to communication. So people from different backgrounds, different ages, different experiences are going to need different context in order to do it. That's one of the challenging things, by the way, when you do a general reading like this, is I have to try to cast a wide net. When it's segmented, to use an old corporate term, when you know exactly who you're talking to, you can target the message easier. In real life, it's just going to be, you might speak differently to your parents than you would to your friends, than you would to a teacher or boss. Same sort of thing holds true here. Tailor your message. It'll be better. It'll be more successful. Deep past. Now we have you catching up. So I was talking about in the cake competition, the person that took his time. Then he's able to make the most of it because he has extra time. He's not fixing it when everyone else is fixing it. So sometimes at the very beginning, like, it's the foundational stuff. When you're laying down the foundation, the research, the contracts, the data, the cake, whatever your foundation is, take your time and make sure it's fully baked. Then you're going to be able to make up for that lost time later, and you won't have to double back. You won't be trying to play catch up. Also, this could be a partner for many of you. A partner in love, a partner in business. A king and a knight work really well together. This is an agent that can help you out. Maybe it's an agent for some of you too. So remembering the first message that came through in dreams where you were feeling I was tapping into some of you are feeling overwhelmed. There might be someone waiting in the surroundings, and just, they're like, yeah, I've been waiting for you to say that you need some help, and they'll run with it. Okay. In a relay race, you don't run every leg. You hand it off, and then you run your part and do it best. All right, we have some of you are maybe looking for love this week. There's a lot coming through with that. We'll talk about that more in relationships, but I see people around you. You're not alone. For those of you that felt that you were alone, you're not. All right, Page of Cups. Again, I need to periodically remind myself we're looking at breaking free of blocks, delays, or hurdles. So we talked about this. Getting over your fears, educating yourself, speaking up, and delegating. Now we have another card here of keeping yourself grounded. This is one of the best illustrated page cards too. So sometimes we feel like we're head over heels, or heels over head in this particular illustration. It's about making sure that your heart doesn't get you carried away, that there is a sort of grounding in reality. So take a half step. Again, a lot of this is about being present and not rushing. Yes, there is potentially some partnership and some good news for you. It's good to have wild dreams and imaginations and sort of like all of these possibilities. Sometimes they come true, folks. There may be that moment too when that's happening that you have to pinch yourself and think, is this happening? It feels like as long as you laid the foundation in a nice, mindful way, yes, this could be happening and you should enjoy it. But time and again, we've had just keep yourself grounded this month, and then try to enjoy the ride a little bit, okay? Creativity also coming through on this one. Whether or not you're artistic or creative or whatever, you're getting a lot of ideas. There needs to be a way to channel or record them this week. So I would say the important thing at the very least is maybe to have a journal or talk to someone about this and make sure that you're not losing any of this inspiration. Now we have a card around clarity. This is one of the best cards if you're trying to think of a new solution. And you can see the pensive thought here. So Seven of Cups is usually flying on in the air. The only thing that happens with the Seven of Cups is all the possibilities can be a little discombobulating. So one thing that you can do is limit the amount of people present at a meeting, the amount of information that you're willing to explore, basically making sure that you don't go into overload. And what can happen sometimes when you're in that overload stage is that it's just like, there comes a point where you can do too much research and it just becomes noise. So put a time limit on yourself and say, I'm willing and ready to look at this amount of stuff, but sometimes it can just feel like this, like, oh my gosh, where do I start? Where do I start? What am I going to do? So that's why, and by the way, I found the Hermit because we were looking, instead of a snake, it's usually this beautiful lantern. Allow yourself just enough time to explore the possibilities, consider them, and realize that you're never going to have a guarantee. Even when you're intuitive, we're shown glimmers and figments and images of what's possible. It's up to you to interpret and decide what to do with that, okay? And so it's all possibilities, and like Yoda in Star Wars said, it's always changing. The future is always moving. That's why you can watch a daily read, like from last week, and then watch this, and this is fine-tuning it. Each latest reading is getting you a little closer to the possibility, and that's why we continue to do readings. Otherwise, I would just show up with a big volume and publish it, and we'd be done. But your decisions are constantly changing your trajectory. Every single thought, movement, or procrastination does that. And this card is around procrastination too. Don't overthink, don't sort of get overwhelmed. Pick one of these with the most potential and move forward at some point, okay? We have success here in the near future. You're on the right path. With the Six of Wands, take a look at the crowd here. There are reaching hands, kind of like this in the background, and they're willing to grab as much as she's willing to give. That is why, my friends, it's important for you to have limits on how much you can, you will, or you're willing to give. There is also an understanding that you'll never make everybody happy. Trust me, I've tried. It doesn't work. Even when it comes to videos, it's too long, it's too short, add this, remove that, and I'll do what feels right. And this is what you need to do too, is to do what feels right in your life. Who you love, what you wear, how you speak, where you live. It's up to you, folks. You and you alone, or you and your partner or whatever. But like all these other people, they're just noise. So success is not measured by their opinion, but it's measured by how you feel about your progress. It's very much subjective. So we're not set up for success by getting grades in school and being measured like that, because it's arbitrary and it's subjective. So your measure of success will be different than someone else's, but I would say universal measures would be, do you go to bed at night feeling like it was a productive day? Do you feel like you made a difference? Are you happy with you? Do you look in the mirror or look at the days of your life and think, yeah, it's good, I'm doing my best? Good, you're passing. You're doing great. If there's anything that you haven't done, if there's anything you don't feel great about, you know what you can work on for the week ahead. And it's that simple. And that's your level of success and your measure of success. It doesn't matter what you got on a report card. It doesn't matter what your boss rated you. It doesn't matter if you're popular with your friends. These are things that make you feel better, but they don't really matter, especially when we go and do soul review at the end of our lives. It's us looking at the lens of our life. We really are our judge. It's not so much God. The guides are there, but we look at our life and we judge it. So judge it now and decide, is it balanced? What do I need to change? And then that review is going to be easy peasy. And you'll be thinking, Nicholas was right. I'm glad I listened. All right. Looking at your indicator for how you're showing up this week. I mentioned this is the other card that I wanted to show in that slide at the beginning. 10 of Wands is feeling burdened. This is the best 7 of Wands. She's unbothered. So it came through reverse, which means for some of you, you might be worried about feeling like, I don't want to be too bossy. I don't want to be confrontational. You don't have to be. She's showing you that you're just at peace with the decision. So if somebody says, I need this tomorrow, and it's not possible, you could say, well, that's, given a present situation, that can't happen. Here's what we can do. Here's what I can help you with. And if they keep pushing, just say, I just said, here's what I can help you with. If you need more help, I'm happy to try to help you with that, but I can't make it happen. So sometimes it's a wake-up call that someone else needs. They're just used to getting their way, and you can only do so much. And there comes a point also where you don't have to work any additional hours past your, if it's a long day. Like when I had a corporate job, I used to have 2 phones, and there was one time where I had a sick relative, and I actually took a picture of the sick relative. I said, I have bigger concerns right now, and we're off hours. It's the weekend. It was actually like a holiday, and they said, I'm sorry, I'll get someone else. I said, thank you. Sometimes you have to just show them, like, this isn't my biggest problem, right? And it's actually not my problem. And I didn't get in trouble for that either. It was just sort of like, do you realize I actually have something else that I'm managing, and it's a day off, and I shouldn't be working? So that's when boundaries come in. And it's hard, and it was risky, but it was important. And it reminds people that you're not just someone showing up, right? So you can do it with calm and ease if you need to. Be at peace with it. That was a choice I don't regret. I won't leave the planet and think, I wish I'd worked rather than caring for someone that was sick. No, I made the right choice. Care for someone that's sick. That deadline doesn't even matter, and I don't even work at that place anymore. So you've got to think big picture and long term, and relationships, because those people around you, they may not be around forever. So you really want to make sure you're making the right choices on those things, okay? And in your life, are you putting aside things that matter for things that don't matter and aren't going to be around forever, right? Okay, enough said on that. By the way, she is in a sort of prayerful and meditative state. So again, anything that you do to find that sort of meditation and balance is key. Okay. Environmentally, you'll have enough to make it happen. And, the traditional card, you would see someone with the scales as well, but we don't need it. We can see it here. It's a little bit here, a little bit here. There's always those reaching or grabbing hands, like I said. So you have to decide which hands are worth it. Who am I going to give what to? And do I have enough for me? And remembering what I talked about with the magician, you're not meant to be the battery or the Mr. or Mrs. Fix-It or the doctor. I talk about this whenever I look at relationship reads. Like, you're a partner for your partner, but you don't have to be a substitute for all other people in their life. So if they're sick, you help them get the help that they need. If there's money problems, you talk to a professional. But like, you don't have to be all of those things. You love each other. And for the people in your life, you don't have to be everything all the time to all of them, right? With this, it's the core card for success. So can you get stuff done? Yeah, absolutely. So the blocks this month, we're almost done, but like with this part of the reading, but the blocks so far could be emotional, could be fear of failure or success, exploring too many options, or procrastinating. So those are the things you want to get over. A delay, which is coming up here, could actually be to help you avoid something, and we're going to talk about that. So hopes, fears, and opportunities. We have transformation, death and rebirth. When something comes to a close or is just not happening, something else can open up. So I've had more than one situation in my life where I was laid off from a job, or I went for multiple interviews, or I tried to get something to happen professionally and it didn't. But as a result, I had to do something else that then opened up a door here or 2 doors down the road. So you never know how the zigzag pattern of rejection, which is a form of protection, is going to ultimately help you in the future. Sometimes it helps you avoid this, someone who isn't what they appear to be. So what I'm seeing here is a block or delay that is intentional from spirit to take away a bad actor in your life, someone who appears to be beautiful and glimmering, but, they just can't hold up to their promises or to their agreements. So if you are currently experiencing one of the things that I mentioned, a delay, a block, a layoff, someone that just it's not happening, you keep trying to make it happen, don't. Let it be and see what else is going on around you. If that just keeps not working, that's the universe kind of knocking on the noggin and saying, come on, let's not do this. I'm trying to help you. Don't be upset. Don't feel bad. Life happens for you, not to you. This block is happening for your benefit, not to punish you. Now look around and see what else you can look at and focus on. And sometimes you cut your losses. The Seven of Swords can just be moving on. Listen to your, that bird makes me laugh. Listen to your higher sensibilities. If someone is trying to warn you, listen to that as well. I can't look at the bird without laughing. But yeah, sometimes you hear something and you don't want to hear it. It's important to pay attention to that. It's a funny illustration. It's not funny when you're going through it. And sometimes people can just be grating, but you really want to pay attention to that. And isn't it interesting, by the way, what do we have here? The crow. What do we have here? Something that you would see the crow feeding on. So crows get a bad rap when it comes to symbols. To me, they are highly connected to liminal spaces, to the other side. They're messengers. So when you see, and they're also highly intelligent. So if you ever befriend and feed a crow, sometimes they'll bring you little presents and things like that. So they're smart, they're loyal, and they're intelligent. There may be someone around you that's smart, loyal, intelligent, and they just can't help but say something, and you don't want to listen to it, and then they were right. If someone typically speaks the truth around you, and they say something that you didn't want to hear, rather than react, just kind of like take a deep breath, sleep on it, observe it for the week, see if anything holds true, and you might be surprised that there was a little bit of truth in it, and that crow is trying to help you out a little bit. They don't have the best, they're not the King of Swords, but they're helping you out. Okay, so some of you have someone around you that is trying to tell you, trying to warn you. Heed the warning and focus on what else is coming through. Okay? All right, that was a funny little bird. All right, this is also about knowing that there's some, like, basically, we just go through a series of portals in our life. We're never truly stuck. The sun rises every day, it sets every day. Every day is a reset. So if you can see today as a reset, whenever you happen to watch this, I think that will help you as well. All right. Now we're going to expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to take a deeper dive into the energy of health. I'm not a doctor, but I'm going to look at what's coming through energetically. Always lean on a professional if you need one. But looking at the energy of health, we have, you're safe here. Well, you're certainly safe when you show up here to this reading, but it's also asking you to find a place in your life where you feel that sense of safety, where you can be yourself, where you don't have to, edit every word, every action, etc. And safe. You need to find that. It may take time. It may be obvious for some of you, but pay attention to that. Can I be myself? If so, you've got it. All right, let's focus on just general messages around health and well-being in the cards here. This can be a wake-up call, which I've seen like several times. I've only done maybe 5 of the monthly videos, but I think 3 of them have had death or rebirth coming in a pivotal space. So some of you had a close call with something in your health or something in your life, and it was like, oh, thank God that didn't happen. Now pay attention to how you can change your life so you can avoid some sort of a pattern that isn't set in stone. It's malleable, and that's a good thing. We want to see this in possibilities because it's transformative here. I've talked to you already know the importance of time management, money management, energy management. Know what you can do, know what you can't do less, do it better. I'll say it again. Some of you may have stage fright or have a little bit of anxiety around public speaking. You're very good at sort of leadership energy for those of you that are doing this. This is something that can be worked on because I see the communication potential here. You may be more in the Knight than the King area, but you'll be able to pull it up there with practice. It has nothing to do so much with health, but it came through when I was looking at it. It's throat chakra, it's practicing, it's confidence. Confidence can cause stress, so I can see why it would show up in health, but that's what I'm picking up on. This is a stress-related thing, like being in front of people. So work on that a little bit. It is something that can change. It is something that can help bring in more opportunities. So don't get in your headspace too much. Concentration and focus, I think, could be a number one thing this week that would be challenging. So planning, talking to others, all of those things help. Getting enough sleep. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with others. If they're not honest with you, speak up and know that that's a pattern that can be broken, that needs to be broken. And that's all I have to say on that. Otherwise, it's a pretty manageable month. The moon card at the center, heavy emotions. Some of you could also be looking at fertility or starting a family or something like that. I'm getting something with reproductive organs there. So obviously speak with a professional if you need to. Nothing bad with that. It's actually just more about getting information and figuring things out. Okay, let's move on to the next component, which is going to be wealth, which is resources, life purpose, and career. All right, we've already talked a lot about that. I'm just going to say one thing with wealth, and then we'll look at the oracle card. You can make it work this month. To quote, Tim Gunn, you have what it takes to make things work. You just have to speak up. All right, take care of your needs. So I was talking about the overlap that I got with the two queens because they kind of get crisscrossed for the two signs. So I mentioned Queen of Pentacles is not afraid to sort of ask for what it is that she needs. So this card is just reminding you of the importance of not just taking care of those needs, but speaking up. Winter. Winter is a period for all animals in the wild where they have to ration. So some of them just hibernate. They don't do much so that they don't have to use as much energy. That's why bears hibernate. That's why a lot of things kind of just go into a less active mode. So for some of you, you're just going to stop working on certain parts and focus on what matters most so that you can generate more resources and then do the other things. Again, doing less, but doing a better job and opening up more resources. I like to not think in limited forms though. So when it comes to Monday, when we were looking at the world energy, really focus on how to expand and where to expand, and then focus the energy there. All right, looking at additional wealth cards. I think you're going to have great problem-solving potential this month with the Seven of Cups. This is all about possibilities. You're poised for success. Many of you are ready for a change, and I think a change could do many of you a lot of good. This can represent a block in management or in leadership where they keep making promises to you that they can't keep. For you, I would start looking around. You've got a decent network in place already. I can see it here. So start looking around and really ask yourself how much more you want to kind of deal with that kind of energy. If you're happy, if everything else is good in your life, this is really the existential card saying, what else is there? What am I doing? And so some of you are looking at how many years on the planet you've lived, how many years you have left, what you want to do in each of these decades and sort of eras of your life. And you're going to make some smart choices. You're going to make some successful choices. So there's a lot of planning and discernment that are coming through across all sectors. There could be some fast moving pieces in your life. Someone needs a signature. Someone wants to know, they need a creative solution. You might be asked to speak up at a meeting or speak up on a conference or something like that. You don't get a lot of time to prep. You just have to trust yourself on that. So quick moving energy, but I feel like you are poised for success, which is good. All right, let's move into love, which is going to touch on all the different relationships in our life, and let's see what's coming through. Well, surprise, surprise, we have another gateway card, and it's right by a gateway here. Horus, cosmic gateway. Horus, connected to the underworld. The underworld coming through here in the catalyst. The underworld coming through here with death and rebirth. This showing a portal. This showing a portal. It's all good, folks. Big changes in relationships. They're either going to expand or some of you are stepping out of them, but either way, there's bigger and better things on the horizon. Let's read the card. Your thoughts are magnetic and powerful. Miraculous changes are occurring. It's good stuff. It's change for your expansion, connecting you again to that world energy. Some of you have connected with a past life friend. So the way that I view karmic energy is, and I think it's a really nice image, it's like these people in your life now are carrying energetic bags. Some of them are like a bag of goodies, jewels and beautiful stuff and happy. Some of them are carrying kind of like what we saw in Ebenezer Scrooge, Christmas Carol, like all this sort of weight and chains, and you've got to release the chains so that you can be untethered. So baggage can be good, baggage can be a little bit heavy. And you know almost immediately when you meet a cosmic connection if it is heavy or if it's light. So figure out if you want to reconnect. You always get that choice. Also figure out if the connection has served its highest purpose. And if so, then it might be time for that person to go and for someone else to come in. Let me take a drink and we'll talk about this a little bit more. Before I look specifically at relationships, some of you might be also expanding your mediumship capabilities and you're able to connect to those who have passed. This is definitely mediumship coming through. All of these. We have 3 cards connecting. This is the underworld, this is death and rebirth as a portal, and this is the gateway. For me, and I'll put this eventually, I'll talk about some of this stuff in my podcast. It definitely increased, my mediumship abilities increased when both parents were gone. With my mom especially, she's one of my guides now. It's something that's beautiful with mediumship, but it's something that you just, it comes through time and through practice. But for those of you that are trying to see more or connect more, it is possible. It isn't something that it's not the equivalent of picking up a phone and they answer. Not always. Even most mediums will say it's kind of up to the other side if they're ready to come through. And sometimes you get someone else from your friends or family circle that needs it. The universe is going to deliver the message that you need to hear. And I think that's the takeaway this week when it comes to relationships. You're going to get the message that you need. It may come in the way, shape, or form you think. It may come through someone that you love. So the universe can use people like a telephone and kind of get that message to you. Listen, there might be a very important message coming through this week. Okay. We're going to look at those of you in a relationship looking for love or that are single and happy. If you're already in a relationship right now, major changes are underway. And again, it's good. Changes for the better. What's going on, though? There could be fear or anxiety or a lack of transparency. The lightest and brightest interpretation of the Seven of Swords, because you got both. The Seven of Swords is just about making sure that you don't keep secrets, that you don't hold back. And if you trust the person you're with, they should be able to pass the test of honesty and transparency. So that's the most important thing in relationships is communication of fears or old things that are coming through and you're like, I really need to get this off my chest. The King of Swords can help with that. And that will lead to success because then there's nothing that anybody can use to get between the two of you because you've been honest with each other. So that's the main thing here is honesty over the past, over the future, over the present, like all the stuff that's going on. You just have to kind of be communicative. Hopes and fears, like talk about what it is that you're questioning and don't get defensive. Speaking of the Seven of Wands, be peaceful like this person, kind of like put your truth down and see if the person's, how they react, but you don't have to kind of like lead with any sort of energy of defensiveness. Children could be playing a part in, for those of you that are already partnered up, and competition for attention, competition for resources, also something coming through. So I think letting everybody know that their voices are being heard, that not everyone can have everything all at once. It is a juggling act this week. That's going to be really important. The good news is if you utilize the King of Swords power and attributes, you can neutralize this and you can just lean into Six of Wands and transformation. But something has to change. Your thoughts are magnetic and powerful. If you can approach something as a positive, then it will be positive. If you approach it with fear or anxiety, it will be that. So that's the message there. Ultimately, though, I think that making sure that you're spending enough time with each other can also be something coming through as well. All right, resetting the stage for those of you that are looking for love. Yes, you can find it. It almost feels like you're indecisive, as I say it with an indecisive tone. The Seven of Cups, you literally see this person like, I don't know, thinking that maybe this, maybe that. Maybe you're dating two people. Maybe you don't know if you want to date or not. Like, this is saying basically make your mind up. Wednesday would be a great day to do that, to have a decision and have a, I don't know why I'm clapping, but have a clear decision in front of you. It'll be much better if you can do that. So try to get a little bit clearer by midweek. Then that can help you be more successful with your time and energy expenditures. So many cards, even the crow and multiple crows here, like there's something karmic energetically, either in existing or in future relationships at play. So connect to that, recognize that, and that'll help you out. Do you have enough time for those of you that are looking? It's a question that I'm seriously asking here. You might need to juggle stuff around, push things around, because if you meet someone, that's one more thing in your sort of schedule that you're going to have to manage. So just keeping it real when it comes to that. Make sure that you have enough time and energy for a relationship. You probably would meet them in a public space, not so much on an app. This is about making sure that you're saying yes to parties, invitations, and public gatherings. That's probably where you're going to meet them. And when you get to know somebody, take your time. Seven of Swords is showing someone that may not be able to put it all out there on the first date or the first interaction. So ask your questions, trust your intuition. And again, if somebody flakes on the date, they're late, or you find out that they didn't tell you something, that's the crow coming through saying, not this one. All right. If you're single and happy, resetting all of this, it's a really, really good time for you to get a better handle. Just like I read the Wheel of Fortune for today. It's all about resources, particularly in this moment. What do I have? What do I want? What do I need to get the next thing? Not the limiting thoughts of I can't have this. It's more like, what do I need to change to open up the opportunities and synchronicities? So this is what you have. This is what you have to change. This is getting real. And also remembering that success is subjective. So you're going to focus on what you want. It's very introspective for those of you that are single and happy. More abundance coming through, big life changes coming through for some of you. You have the freedom to make the changes because you may not be tethered to someone. So it's easier to do what you need to do because there's not as many people in the equation. Okay? And now let's move on to destiny. We have the crow. The crow is upside down, but this crow is kind of like leaning on one of those little baubles that I mentioned. It likes to bring a gift. So imagining that it is someone bringing a gift, a message, or again, trying to be noticed. The latter part I think is important. Is there someone trying to get your attention? Are you ignoring them? It doesn't usually work, FYI, when you're trying to ignore someone. But it might be better to pay attention to whatever it is that you need to deal with. If there's a difficult conversation, have it. If there's information that you didn't want to hear, consider it, and try to clear the environment a little bit. Messages are incoming. Keep an open ear, an open eye, an open heart. And the crow is also something that, again, is able to thrive even after something is over. So this is a gateway card, Horus. This is a gateway card. And again, we have carrion crow and we have some of their food here. So I'm going to say this is going to be a fruitful period for you, even if you hit a block. And that's a nice segue to look at this next card here, which is going to be one of the most important ones. We're going to take a look basically at a big idea, which is we're going to do two. What's the potential block, delay, or hurdle? And how can you get past it? What's the information on the block, delay, or hurdle, and how can you get past it? Oh, you can't even see it. Okay, so big ideas, since we're looking at two, focusing first on the block, delay, or hurdle. It's basically saying, who's the boss? We've got the Chariot in reverse. The Chariot can kind of go topsy-turvy if the horses aren't in the same direction, if the person that's driving the Chariot isn't steering it. And it's kind of like if we were to look at our car right now, if you have one, it's sort of like the tires and you. So imagine if the tire just went in a different direction, the hubcap came off and you couldn't drive the car. Or if you're not paying attention, we're not fully in automated vehicles just yet. So you've got to have all these things connecting. So the biggest block is organization, management, and maybe stepping into that position of saying, I'm going to take the wheel and drive. I'm going to make the decision. I'm going to turn in this direction. Because that's really what the Chariot is about. It's also saying, how much do you want to fight for something? If we think back to war, chariots were part of that. They were part of a battle. So are you willing to fight for something? Are you willing to lead the charge for something? And that would then put you again in that spotlight, which is a little bit more visible. And for some of you, that could be a little more sensitive. And then that's the next question. So now we know the block, or it's basically going in a direction that someone doesn't expect, or taking control. How can you manage this? Not feeling overwhelmed. So we have this Queen of Cups, half in water, half out of water, finding a way to be in touch with and at peace with her emotions, and not feeling overwhelmed, not feeling like we saw with the Moon card here, where the person's underwater. She's upside down. Most of the, when we were looking at Cups cards, except the page here, a lot of them came through reversed. So I think the important thing to manage in this period of time is it's okay to feel things, even if it's inconvenient at the time. It's okay to desire things and to have a lot of creative energy flowing through you. It's just a matter of what are you going to do with it. So the universe right now is asking a question. What's your next step? How are you going to take your passion and make it something tangible, real, make it happen, right? And if you can do that, then you're unstoppable, because this is power and this is power and this is control and this is control. So yeah, just basically focusing on those sort of energies in your life will help you out. Working with a mentor could be really helpful in this period. Working with a therapist or a coach, depending on what it is you're trying to rein in. This is stuff that through practice you can find, not necessarily perfection, but you're going to find this sense of control, and that will help you out. Okay. We're going to prepare now for a meditation and a final card. What is a final card, you might ask? It is your chance to ask me one thing that I haven't answered yet. So I don't answer questions directly in chat, but I do a collective open wild card basically here. Before we do any of that, if you just joined or if you've been watching and you think this is cool, I'd like to see more, please subscribe. It's free. Hit a like button once, and then when this goes on replay, make sure that you also comment. All of those things help with helping other people find it. So that's just kind of how the YouTube system works. Don't ask me, but it does help, and I just want to say thanks. Let's go ahead now and meditate, and we'll talk about more ways to connect at the very end. Okay, so for today's meditation, I think what I want to focus on is, let's look at the cards real quick together. So we have, I actually like this King of the Mountain right at the center here, getting a bird's eye view. I think that's going to help you the most. So whether or not you do a lot of traveling in your life, doesn't matter. Focus on, or like hiking or whatever, just imagine that you are at the highest peak and you're able to see the world from a different perspective. And from this vista, cities, you don't hear the noise, you don't see the pollution, they just look beautiful in the distance. You can see the ocean, you can see the forest, you can see everything that this beautiful bluish-green globe has to offer us. And what you see in this moment also is a path or a calling or something that you haven't been able to focus on because your schedule is so busy, because you have so many people in your life saying and doing things, because you're in your headspace too much, asking questions, focusing on other things. So take a moment right now and think to yourself, wow, that path has been in front of me. What am I going to do? This is going to be more of an inner calling question as we meditate, and just see if it comes today. Maybe it'll come in dreams and sleep over the next week or so. But ask yourself, what's the next step that I need to take to be happy, to find balance, to get to that point on the horizon that I see, okay? I'm going to help you with just basically clearing your mind by playing the singing bowl here for a moment. So sit back and relax. Take a few deep breaths. Imagine that the sun is rising and you can see a ray of light reaching across that path, helping you see with greater clarity how to get to the next part of the journey. All right. Imagine now that you're seeing this clear next step in front of you, or just feeling like things will be revealed. There's nothing to be afraid of. There's this sense of clarity, openness, and decisiveness that's starting to wash over you. Allow this to continue to take shape and form as the week progresses. Keep me posted in the comments as you guys decide what it is you're going to do to take the next step. All right, let's go ahead now and focus on your final question, whatever it is that you might have. Formulate that, focus on that, and let's see what the universe has to say. So we have success here for this final card, and we have the Four of Wands in the reverse state. What's nice about this is it's basically saying that there could be some really nice relationships, partnerships, or connections en route. They may not be here now, but that doesn't mean that they're not coming. So the Four of Wands in reverse is still positive. It just means that the stage may be set, but the people aren't there yet. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep holding out for that higher connection that we would see with this, and know that that energy is en route. This is also a call to prioritize those relationships that are already in your life that are Four of Wands. This would be best friends, possibly partner or children or family members that are just there. They have your back. They're with you through thick and through thin, and prioritizing that because that's something worth celebrating. Okay, that, my friends, is everything for today. I hope you did enjoy this. We're going to stick around. I'm going to say thanks to everybody, but just a couple quick housekeeping notes, and then we'll wrap up for today. Again, a great way to show your support is just through liking, subscribing, and commenting. It helps me, it helps the channel, and it's a great way to know what you like here on the channel as well. Join me every Monday, Thursday, and Friday for fresh new videos, every weekend for a live stream, and every day for that little pulse check to make sure that you're in the right place. You can go to my main channel page for all of that. To make sure that you don't miss out on something, or to know when you did, and to be able to kind of catch up, you can show up on social media. It's always at Nicholas Ashbaugh. You can go to my main website if you need links. You can also go to the About tab here on my channel page. A quick reminder, I don't give private readings, so anybody that does is an imposter and tries to pretend that they're me. So just block, report them, let me know about it as well. All right, if you want to show support, you can do it through super stickers, super chat, and through memberships. And we have a great community here where people always do that. So thank you. I'm going to take a couple moments here just to extend that gratitude, and we'll go from there. Quick note, Monday's video may or may not be right. I'd probably be a little bit later in the afternoon just because I've had a lot that I'm juggling, but I'll still get Monday's video out there. We'll see when, but I'll keep you posted on that. All right, give me one moment here for saying thanks for all of the contributions today. So first things first, we're going to begin with members, anybody that joined in the last day or so. We have, looks like 4 new ones today, or 5 new ones. So Stacy, Marissa, Brandy, and Tracy, welcome and thank you for your contribution and your support. Now for super stickers and super chat, and then we'll wrap up. All right, for today, starting things off, let's see what we've got here. Renee, thanks for kicking it off. And then everybody else, I'm just going to say in rapid succession. Carmen, thank you. Renita, thanks for giving and giving a little bit extra. I appreciate that. Jeannie, thank you. Enzo, good to see you, buddy. Paula B, thank you for the lucky 8s and for giving a little bit extra. I appreciate that too. Lucy, pauses and passages. Cynthia, Catherine, Jeannie, Kathy, Allison, and Eileen. Good to see you, Eileen, and thank you for giving back, and always thanks for all those gifted memberships too. Much appreciated. We got a new member that joined just as I was talking here, so thank you, Cipriana. Congrats to my little Margie for 22 months. I appreciate that. And thank you, Pearl, for that final message there. And I may have missed some new members. If I did or anything like that, I know that Dakota caught it while I was doing my presentation here, and I will see it when I do the replay here and add the time code. So much love and light to all of you. Have a great week ahead. Embrace the changes, and remember here, as we looked at these 3 cards, that the focus right now is on not being afraid to take the wheel, to use your emotions as a source of inspiration and to channel them, and know that you don't have to do this alone. there is help on the horizon. There are people incoming, even if they're not immediately in the trajectory. All right, lots of love and light to all of you. Thanks to Dakota for your help with moderation. Thanks to everybody for showing up, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye, everyone. And lots of love for Mr. Apollo, too. All right, bye-bye.